Forbes just made an announcement that has sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. Their 2025 Most Powerful Women in Sports list dropped, and the number 4 spot belongs to Caitlin Clark. Not just any placement, she's officially the highest-ranked athlete on the entire list. But here's what nobody saw coming. A'ja Wilson landed at number 15, and the fallout from that 11-spot gap is revealing everything about the power shift happening in women's basketball right now. Let's be clear about what Forbes actually measured here. This isn't a popularity contest or some feel-good recognition ceremony. Forbes dug into real numbers: earnings, endorsement value, social media reach, cultural impact across 5 key sectors. They used a weighted formula that prioritizes financial control and overall influence within the sports industry. And when those calculations finished running, Caitlin Clark had dominated every single category that mattered. The gap between 4th place and 15th place tells a story that goes far beyond individual talent or team success. We're watching the complete restructuring of power dynamics in women's sports, and not everyone is handling it well. Many of you have been tracking these developments since Clark entered the league. You were onto something when you noticed the patterns emerging. Let's filter out the noise and examine what's really happening behind the headlines. If you believe the story behind the story matters, hit that like button right now. It tells us you're ready to dig deeper than surface level takes. We need to understand why this ranking has created such an earthquake in the WNBA. Clark walked into professional basketball and immediately redefined what financial success looks like for female athletes. The average WNBA rookie earns around $60,000 in their first year. Caitlin Clark earned $8.1 million. That's not a gradual increase or a nice bonus structure. That's a complete demolition of every expectation about what rookie earning potential could be. Her base WNBA salary sat around the league minimum, just like any other first-year player, about $64,000. But while other rookies were calculating rent payments and managing modest budgets, Clark was negotiating endorsement deals worth more than entire franchise valuations. The Nike contract alone guaranteed $28 million over 8 years. Most veteran WNBA players have never seen a single endorsement worth a fraction of that amount. Clark secured generational wealth before playing a single professional minute. That Nike deal represented something women's basketball had never witnessed before: real money. Corporate investment at a level usually reserved for the absolute elite in any sport, and Nike was just the opening move. Gatorade came next. This partnership placed Clark in company with LeBron James and Serena Williams. Gatorade doesn't distribute partnerships casually. They invest in athletes who can move products and shift cultural conversations. No WNBA player had ever reached that tier of corporate recognition before Clark. The brand calculated that her market reach extended far beyond traditional basketball audiences. Wilson's Sporting Goods added another dimension to Clark's growing empire. Not just another endorsement check, but a partnership that made her the face of their basketball and equipment lines across major retailers nationwide. The first athlete they'd featured this prominently since Michael Jordan. Every basketball display in sporting goods stores became another revenue stream flowing directly into Clark's accounts. Speaking engagements opened up yet another income channel that left established players speechless. Clark started commanding appearance fees for corporate events and conferences that exceeded what some WNBA players earn in entire seasons. Companies weren't paying for generic basketball expertise. They were investing in her ability to generate buzz and draw crowds that created measurable business value. The television numbers explain exactly why brands lined up to write massive checks. Games featuring Clark saw viewership jump 400% compared to typical WNBA broadcasts. 400%. Networks started bidding against each other for broadcasting rights to Fever games. Advertisers scrambled to buy commercial time during Clark appearances. Revenue streams that had never existed in women's basketball suddenly became major profit centers driving real economic activity. Stadium attendance followed identical patterns. Cities hosting fever games experienced ticket sales beyond anything they'd seen before. Merchandise flew off shelves. Local businesses around arenas reported increased foot traffic on game days. Clark wasn't just playing basketball. She was generating economic activity across entire metropolitan areas. Her presence created measurable financial impact that extended far beyond the final score. The social media metrics revealed marketing value that traditional advertising rarely achieves. Millions of followers engaging with every post, creating reach that brands recognized as something special. Clark could access demographics that had never shown interest in women's basketball before. Corporate America realized she possessed a unique combination of talent and marketability that couldn't be taught or replicated. Forbes, putting Clark at number 4, ahead of tennis legends who've built brands for decades and Olympic champions with years of international recognition, validated what basketball fans already understood. She accomplished in 12 months what most athletes spend entire careers trying to achieve. Her $8.1 million dwarfed the next closest player, Sabrina Ionescu, who earned $6.3 million. That difference represents the premium brands were willing to pay for Clark's specific combination of performance and cultural appeal. But here's where the story takes its most revealing turn. Certain veterans watched these developments with reactions that exposed their true character. The Forbes announcement didn't just celebrate Clark's success, it created a ranking that forced everyone to confront the new hierarchy in women's sports. And one particular player at number 15 has had a response that reveals everything about jealousy, resentment, and the inability to handle watching someone else become the face of the sport practically overnight. Reading between the lines of social media posts, lukewarm congratulations, and carefully timed content campaigns, a pattern emerges that's been building for months. This jealousy didn't appear when Forbes published their list. It's been simmering since the moment Clark signed that Nike deal, and it's only intensified as her star has continued rising while others watch their relevance diminish in real time. Let me ask you something. What do you think drives A'ja Wilson's reaction to Caitlin Clark's success? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This conversation matters because we're watching the power structure of an entire sport shift in real time, and how veterans respond reveals everything about their character. Wilson's resentment didn't start with the Forbes ranking. This jealousy has been building through a series of social media campaigns and carefully timed posts that reveal exactly how she feels about Clark's meteoric rise. The Nike deal announcement was the first crack in Wilson's composure. While Clark celebrated her historic $28 million contract, Wilson took to social media questioning why rookies were getting treatment that veterans supposedly had to earn over years. She never mentioned Clark by name. She didn't have to. The timing made her target crystal clear. Wilson started sharing throwback photos with Nike executives, reminding everyone that she had brand relationships too. That subtle campaign evolved into something much more obvious. Wilson began posting daily content about veteran accomplishments, newcomer expectations, and the importance of paying dues. Each post felt like a direct response to Clark coverage dominating sports headlines. Wilson's Instagram stories became a running commentary on media hype and undeserved attention. The most desperate attempt to reclaim spotlight came through her "I Have a Shoe" campaign. She posted photos of her Nike signature shoe from every angle, tagging Nike in stories about veteran loyalty and long-term partnerships. Wilson even shared throwback content from her shoe launch events, something she'd never done consistently before Clark entered the picture. Time magazine's Athlete of the Year announcement for Clark pushed Wilson over another edge. Her congratulations post lasted exactly one sentence with zero personal message or genuine excitement. Compare that to the multi-paragraph celebrations Wilson posted when other players won awards. The contrast revealed everything about her true feelings regarding Clark's growing recognition and mainstream success. The Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year honor for Clark triggered another wave of Wilson's passive-aggressive content. She posted about sustained excellence and the importance of multiple season performance, not general observations about sports. Wilson's timing and word choice made clear she was responding specifically to Clark's continued accumulation of major awards and cultural recognition. Speaking engagements became another flashpoint. Wilson had never publicly discussed her speaking appearances before, but Clark's high-profile corporate event deals suddenly made Wilson want everyone to know about her bookings. She started posting behind-the-scenes content from conference appearances and corporate events, trying to demonstrate her own value in markets that clearly preferred Clark's star power and audience reach. Wilson's social media behavior shifted toward questioning Clark's actual impact on the sport. She posted statistics about veteran scoring records, established viewership numbers, and longtime player contributions in ways that read like direct rebuttals to Clark coverage. Wilson started using phrases like real impact and sustained excellence in contexts that seemed designed to diminish Clark's achievements and suggest her success was somehow manufactured or undeserved. Her comments about media attention became increasingly pointed as the season progressed. Wilson made subtle digs about hype versus substance, about proving yourself over time, about the difference between flash and foundation. These weren't philosophical observations about basketball. Wilson's patterns made clear she was responding to Clark's continued success, reshaping the entire landscape of women's basketball, while her own cultural relevance diminished. The Forbes ranking became the moment all those months of subtle undermining exploded into public view. Connecting the dots reveals Wilson's core issue with Clark's rise. This isn't about basketball performance or championship success. Wilson's jealousy centers on watching someone else become the face of women's basketball practically overnight. She spent years building her brand and establishing herself as a league cornerstone, only to see Clark eclipse her relevance in months. Let's examine what Forbes actually recognized with that number 4 ranking. Their methodology measured real power and influence, not just basketball statistics. Clark's social media presence exploded past established stars across multiple sports. Marketing executives noticed when her engagement rates consistently outperformed athletes with much larger followings. Raw follower counts tell one story, but engagement rates reveal true influence. Clark's posts generated interactions that translated directly into marketing value brands couldn't find elsewhere. The cultural impact measurement revealed something even more impressive. Clark brought completely new demographics into women's basketball. Families who'd never watched WNBA games became regular viewers. Young girls started playing basketball because they wanted to emulate Clark. Corporate executives who'd ignored women's sports suddenly saw profit potential they'd never recognized before. Forbes specifically noted her ability to drive revenue beyond her own earnings. Venues hosting fever games saw ticket sales surge beyond historical averages. Cities experienced increased tourism and local business revenue on game days. Broadcast networks bid against each other for rights to air Clark's games. She created economic activity, rippling through entire communities wherever she played. This represents influence that extends far beyond individual athletic performance. Her crossover appeal into golf and other sports demonstrated influence transcending basketball completely. Clark participated in pro-am golf tournaments that attracted mainstream media coverage. Sports networks featured her appearances across different athletic events. This multi-sport recognition represents something Wilson has never achieved despite years of attempting to expand her brand reach beyond basketball circles. The endorsement portfolio diversity set Clark apart from typical single-sport athletes. Brands approached her differently, recognizing potential to reach audiences beyond traditional basketball fans. Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson each developed marketing strategies usually reserved for global superstars who compete across multiple sports or entertainment industries. Clark's deals reflected her status as a cultural figure, not just an athlete. Forbes validated what basketball fans already understood about Clark's impact on the sport and broader culture. The recognition followed her Time magazine honor and Associated Press award, creating a pattern of mainstream acknowledgement no WNBA player had ever received. Clark's presence established her as both cultural and commercial force, redefining expectations for women's sports in 2024 and beyond. She drove 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity, while securing endorsement deals that underscored her growing influence in the sports business landscape. One player generating more than a quarter of an entire league's economic activity represents unprecedented impact that Forbes couldn't ignore when calculating their power rankings. Wilson's position at number 15 isn't an insult. It's reality. She's an accomplished player with legitimate achievements. But the 11-spot gap between 4th and 15th tells the truth about who's actually driving women's basketball forward. Wilson can post all the throwback content she wants. She can question media narratives and hint at undeserved recognition. The numbers don't care about feelings or veteran status. Clark's Forbes recognition proves that raw talent paired with genuine personality creates momentum that can't be stopped by jealousy or passive-aggressive social media campaigns. Wilson's reactions show exactly what happens when established players feel their status slipping away. They can either embrace the rising tide that lifts all boats, or they can reveal their character through resentment and attempts to undermine progress. The 2026 season represents everything basketball fans have been waiting for. We're watching the foundation of something transformative, built around a player who transcends sports entirely. Clark's influence reaches far beyond basketball courts into boardrooms and living rooms across America. She's changing what's possible for female athletes financially and culturally, creating opportunities that didn't exist before she arrived. If you want to stay ahead of every development in this ongoing story, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. The Caitlin Clark era is just beginning, and the ripple effects will reshape women's sports for generations. We'll keep connecting the dots that mainstream media misses. Wilson can keep posting subtle digs and throwing public reactions about recognition she feels entitled to. Meanwhile, Clark's impact has already rewritten what female athletes can achieve. The Forbes ranking simply confirmed what we've been watching unfold in real time. One player is building the future while another watches her past relevance fade away. The choice about how to respond reveals everything about character and legacy. We're covering the next major development in Caitlin Clark's unprecedented rise in our next video. You won't want to miss what happens when establishment figures realize they can't stop the momentum. Thanks for digging deeper with us. We'll see you in the next one.